And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We're talking Will Buxton saying au revoir, adios to Formula One. But why? Why would Will leave the thing he's known the best for? Well, let's find out, shall we? So, he is supposedly leaving F1 for Indycar. Well, I say supposedly, it's pretty much been confirmed. But what, and the race has got an interesting article, what convinced Will Buxton to switch from F1 to Indycar? Oh, Will, why have you left us? So, as a long-time Formula 1 broadcaster, and he was the voice of Netflix Drive to Survive, that's where he became synonymous, or infamous, some might say. He makes no bones about his move to become, he's going to be the lead commentator of Indycar, and he has suggested that this is the hardest decision of his life. He said himself, this is a massive sliding doors moment, referencing that lovely film, and the kind of opportunity that does not come around often. And that's what he's been telling the race. He said, and it's very much taking that leap. It's scary, really scary. I'm not going to shy away from that. So for more than 20 years, following F1 around the globe, so he started off pretty much in his own pocket by following Formula 1, doing kind of like favours for journalists and etc. And that's how it went there. He is going to be absent for the 2025 season, as he instead goes to Fox for that IndyCar coverage. Now, while the move from F1 to IndyCar is not one that would seem particularly obvious to many, it's a homecoming of sorts, because Will Buxton has previously worked for worked in the series for NBC. The catalyst for the switch came from the three key conversations Buxton had with figures he knows well from the paddocks. He said, I was having dinner with James Hinchcliffe at the end of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and he said, are you sorted for 25? I said, actually, I'm not. He replied then, okay, would you be willing to talk to Fox about IndyCar? I asked if they would be interested in talking to me, and he was like, yeah, your name came up in a meeting, so let's have a chat. I'm not surprised. He is a very talented man, isn't he? So he said, I never imagined in a million years that there would be an opportunity to switch full time to IndyCar, but it became really clear really quickly that there was this amazing opportunity, and the kind of opportunity that doesn't come around twice. He said, if I turn it down, I don't know if it would ever appear again. Now, he held talks with Fox, the people that are going to be broadcasting IndyCar in the subsequent weeks, and he was wondering, he said, there are two people that I spoke to about it. He said, one was Lee Diffie, who obviously was the outgoing IndyCar commentator and somebody that I've worked with for many years through the NBC days. He said, we are very good friends. I just said to him, A, should I do it? And B, do you think I can do a good job? And this guy, Lee was incredibly positive, he says, and he's always been a huge supporter of mine. He's like a big brother to me and a tremendous guide and mentor. He said his faith that I could do it, and that he was also happy for me to do it. It was a huge factor in me accepting it. He said, then the other one, bizarrely, was Zach Brown. Well, maybe not that bizarrely, because he's got, obviously, his own IndyCar team with McLaren. He's American. He's got ties to America, but still, interesting. And Zach Brown said, I think IndyCar can be incredible, but do you believe that the growth potential is there? That's what he said to Zach. And from everything you've heard from Fox, are they serious as they seem about it? Zach replied with a text message that was 3 words, and it just said, effing do it. That was literally all I needed to know. So the growth potential, and IndyCar, yes, it is a motorsport. Is it growing? Well, it hasn't received the massive growth Formula 1 has. It's always been around. And when you look back at the 90s, the IndyCar and kart split, Google it if you want to know. Basically, imagine Formula 1 splitting into 2 divisions. That's effectively what IndyCar did, like in the mid to late 90s. They split into 2 championships, which really, really hurt it. And I'm not saying they've never really recovered, but it's taken a long time, I think, for them to recover. So Buxton, though, he's relishing his return to the commentary box with his period in the booth for both the GP2 and GP3 from 2009, now known as F2 and F3, and he suggested that's provided some of the happiest memories. Now, Fox has taken over the IndyCar broadcast rights for this season. I think we'll still be able to see it on Sky F1 here in the UK, but already he's shown in its initial advert that it is going to be bold with its coverage and wants to expand the series profile, which I think is let's be fair, only a good thing. Buxton thinks the sky's the limit for IndyCar, as he hopes it can enjoy the kind of boom F1 experienced under Liberty Media, and I hope it does. Now, Fox is renowned stateside doing things a bit differently, added Buxton. They're all about being bold. They're all about taking chances. He said, but the biggest thing is that they want to tell stories. They want to make heroes of these drivers, and they want to grow the sport and place it firmly where I believe it should be in the United States, he said. There's no reason why IndyCar shouldn't be the most popular form of motorsport here, and that means making it bigger than NASCAR. Interesting. That's going to take time, though. Absolutely. But that's why they've assembled the group that they have. And now, working alongside Will Buxton will be former racers Hinchcliffe and Townsend Bell, which I think were there last year. At least Townsend Bell was there last year. But what's interesting as well, Will Buxton, obviously, he's now going to be the shield in all the right ways for IndyCar, because I think that's absolutely brilliant. But Will Buxton declares IndyCar has the greatest racing on earth after his Formula One switch. He was the voice of Formula One for many new fans during Drive to Survive. That's what Planet F1 says. We've kind of gone along, but as we know, he's now got this deal with Fox, and he said, it's been a decade and a half since he's been in the commentary booth, and he said because IndyCar has the greatest racing on earth. He's made no secret of his passion for IndyCar racing, a sport in which he's already made a few appearances. As some might know, there he is there. A young Will Buxton. Look at that. God, he does look young, doesn't he? In the past, NBC Sports managed the rights for both Formula One and IndyCar, and during 23 through 2017, Buxton appeared as a pit reporter during a handful of events for the IndyCar series, and he's regularly shared enthusiastic praise for the sport on social media after joining a handful of F1 personnel to tune into the Indianapolis after 500, and that was after the Monaco Grand Prix. They're seemingly on the same weekend the last few years. While the move has caught some F1 fans off guard, there are likely certain professional advantages on taking on the IndyCar role. Now, first and foremost, the IndyCar racing season is far shorter. Oh, hello. my Planet F1 is that going. But yeah, basically, essentially what it is saying is while I make everyone sick by trying to scroll back, the IndyCar season is indeed shorter than the Formula One season. It's got with just 17 races, but it starts in March and ends in August, which I think is far too early, but there we go. With the exception of an event in Toronto, each race, it takes place within the United States. There were times in the past where IndyCar or car went to Germany, UK and other places, even Japan. But it limits that international travel. And as a father to a young child, Buxton's priorities may have shifted, and that's really good for Buxton. Much better than Formula One in terms of travelling. IndyCar has also lagged behind in terms of broadcast quality when you look at the competition. The series moves to Fox has promised to come with a more revitalised approach to coverage that will see Buxton take on a critical role in establishing this tone. And his experience in high quality international broadcasting for Formula One, they say it's going to be critical, and I say it absolutely is. So I'm really looking forward to the IndyCar coverage. Hopefully we may or may not be covering IndyCar here. We did it a bit before. I guess we'll be having our fingers crossed. Will you be following Will Buxton? Will you be watching IndyCar next year? Let us know. Comment below and let us know. But if all you do is click on this, watch this video, that is more than enough for us. But if you made it to the end, absolute congratulations. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. And if you want to help us that bit more, hit that like button. Comment below there. Let us know what you feel about Will Buxton. Let us know what you feel about IndyCar. Stay safe, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.